no, no. Emiliano, 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 no. Emiliano, Emiliano, Emiliano.
Millions what you need, 1 million is the fee. Goddamn, you wanna spend all your money.
Hi everyone, I'm Marjorie Alicia from BSCA 1B and I'm going to talk about applying moral philosophy to ethical decision making, cognitive moral development and its problems. Ethics, also called moral philosophy, is the discipline concerned with what is morally good and bad and morally right or wrong. Moral philosophy is by answering questions like, how should we live? Shall we aim at happiness or at knowledge? If we choose happiness, will it be our own happiness or the happiness of all? If I may answer the question about choosing happiness over knowledge, I would choose knowledge, because knowledge is power. Rather, knowledge is a happiness because to have knowledge, a broad or deep knowledge, is to know what is right and what is wrong. If you have knowledge about life, you will be able to understand that. So when you realize what is life, by gaining wisdom, you will work accordingly and get happiness automatically. Well, individuals use different philosophies on whether they make a personal decision or a work-related decision. Two things may explain this behavior. First, in the business arena, some goals and pressures for success differ from the goals and pressures in a person's life outside of work. For example, an employee might view a specific action as good in the business sector but unacceptable outside the work environment. The comment, "It's not personal, it's just business," is the best explanation for it. This comment demonstrates the conflict business people can experience when their personal values do not align with their profit-oriented decisions. Because business people in reality is if firms do not make profit, they will fail. Second reason people change moral philosophies is the corporate culture or the environment where they work. For example, when children enter school, they learn certain rules such as raising hands to speak or asking permissions to use the restroom. So it is with the new employee. Rules, personalities, and precedents exert pressures on the employee to conform to the firm's culture. As this process occurs, the individual's moral philosophy may change to become compatible with their work environment. Individuals make judgments about what they believe to be right or wrong, but in their business lives, they make decisions that take into consideration how to generate benefits with the least harm. Cognitive moral development, or CMD, often referred to as moral reasoning. Cognitive development is how thought processes change over time, and moral development is how views on morality change over time. Kohlberg was an American psychologist best known for his theory of stages of moral development. He served as a professor in the psychology department at the University of Chicago and at the Graduate School of Education at Harvard University. Cognitive in nature, Kohlberg's theory process that occurs when one decides whether a behavior is right and wrong. The theory also suggests that moral logic is primarily focused on seeking and maintaining justice. Number 1, we have the stage of punishment and obedience. A person in this stage responds to rules and labels of good and bad in terms of the physical power of those who determine such rules.
Gets kick.
For example, some companies forbid their buyers to accept gifts from salespeople. A buyer in stage 1 might justify a refusal to accept gifts from salespeople by referring to the company's rule. On the other hand, the buyer may accept the gift if he or she believes there is no chance of being caught and punished. Second stage is the stage of individual instrumental purpose and exchange. An individual in stage 2 defines right as what serves his or her needs. Some refer stage 2 as the stage of reciprocity because from a practical standpoint, ethical decisions are based on an agreement of you scratch my back and I'll scratch yours, instead of a principle of loyalty, gratitude, or justice. Third stage is the stage of mutual interpersonal expectations and conformity. Individuals in stage 3 emphasize the interests of others rather than simply those of themselves. For example, a production manager might obey upper management in order to speed up an assembly line if he or she believed doing so would generate more profit for the company and thus save employee jobs. Fourth stage is the stage of social system and conscience maintenance. Individuals in this stage determines what is right by considering their duty to society, not just certain other people. For example, some managers consider it a duty to society to protect privacy and therefore refrain from monitoring employee conversations. Fifth stage is the stage of prior rights, social contract or utility. Individuals in this stage are concerned with upholding the basic rights, values, and legal contracts of society. For example, the president of a company may decide to establish an ethics program because it provides buffer against legal problems and the company will be perceived as a responsible contributor to the society. The last stage we have is the stage of universal ethical principles. A person in this stage believes right is determined by universal ethical principles everyone should follow. Thank you everyone and thank you review for joining me in this deep dive about our topic for today's video.
So yeah, can't you see I'm alone? Kiss me to the cellular, kiss me to the phone. Yeah, messing with my.
Give it to me like